Hi everybody, let me float an idea for you. If you play a lot of PUBG on an OG Xbox or an Xbox One S or even an Xbox One X, you should buy a Series S just to play PUBG. Now, this might sound crazy. You might be, whoa, what are you talking about? All that money just to play one game? Well, I'm going to try and convince you in this video and tell you my reasons. The main ones are what you're seeing now on the screen in front of you. 1080p, 60 frames a second gameplay, solid gameplay as well. What is especially important about what we're seeing now is this is PUBG Team Deathmatch. Now, I'm not sure about you, but when I would play Team Deathmatch, I think is it 9v9 or it's 6v6 on little small maps. When I would play this on a respawn mode as well, so you come back to life. When I would play this on my Xbox One S, a lot of the time it was virtually unplayable because of the lag and the frame drops, and it was very, very frustrating. However, on the Series S, Team Deathmatch becomes what it should be, and that is a fun game mode in its own right, but also the opportunity for you to become much, much better at gunplay, especially if you're a casual gamer, you know, like myself, who plays lots of different games, but I really enjoy PUBG because you can jump in and you can die as many times as you like, which is what practicing is all about. And you can practice with all the different guns, with all the different attachments, with all the different scopes, and become much, much better. So when you're in that situation in Battle Royale, you know, you're less likely to choke. You're more likely to know what to do. And there's some really great maths in Team Deathmatch. So Team Deathmatch is really good. The game runs so buttery smooth. I mean, I play on just the TV, you know, a big TV, you know, normally leaning back in my chair, you know, feet up on my controller, and it's that solid 1080p 60 frames a second, which is transformative in the game. It makes you feel like you're playing PUBG on a high-end gaming PC. There's none of that jerkiness when you turn around. You get that true depth when you look down your scopes, and it makes the game look breathtaking. I mean, I was playing with Colonel Ping the other night on some of his first games when he bought a 1S, and he was just going, wow, look at this. You know, I've been playing PUBG through fog all the way along, and it's true, it is really, really good. That jump to 60 frames a second is absolutely amazing. And if you love PUBG, if you play a lot of PUBG, or maybe you used to play a lot of PUBG, but maybe became a little bit frustrated with it, a bit like me really. I felt there was lots of poor decisions the development teams have made. You could argue they still make, but coming back to it and playing it as it should be played makes things so much different, and the game so much more enjoyable. Now, putting all that to one side, you may well still be saying, well, what about the cost? £250 just to play one game. Okay, so let me kind of justify these things now. When PUBG first came out on console back in late 2017, I borrowed my son's OG Xbox, and then when he wanted it back, I bought myself an Xbox One S just to play PUBG on it. That's purely why I bought that console, and that was, I think it was about £170 at the time. So you know, that was a lot of money. But say you've already got an Xbox One or Xbox One S or an Xbox One X, and you're thinking, well, that's a lot of money. Well, let's say your controller's getting a little bit worn. It's got a bit of stick drift. If you were to go out and buy an Xbox controller, it's probably going to cost you £50, isn't it? So it's quite a lot of money. And let's say you still play PUBG on the original hard drive in your console. Well, the Xbox Series S has got this super duper SSD hard drive inside it, which allows PUBG to load in the assets so much faster, so you get very little of the jelly molding or rubber banding, all that sort of stuff. So it runs incredibly well. And a really fast, you know, a fast SSD, an external SSD, you're talking, you know, a decent size one, you're probably talking about £100, aren't you? So already we're up to £150. So the actual upgrade for getting this next gen performance isn't actually that much money. And I think the One S could well be the hidden secret, the dirty little secret of next gen consoles, because from what I'm hearing about the PlayStation 5, although I was, you know, very much committed to getting one, Sony's commitment to backwards compatibility seems not to include the idea of making these backwards compatible games run much, much better. Whereas it seems to me that Xbox and Microsoft, not only have they included, so many backwards compatible games with, most of the Xbox One catalogue is backwards compatible apart from, the Kinect stuff. Many, many, many hundreds of Xbox 360 games are compatible, and there's even a handful of original Xbox games are compatible. And they've also shown that with they have something called Frame Boost as well on Xbox Series S and X, where they're going back slowly but surely. There's only a handful of games at the moment, but they're taking games that were probably previously capped at 30 frames a second on Xbox One, and they're allowing them to run on at 60 frames a second. So games like Sniper Elite and Fallout 4. So they're unlocking that extra potential, but I don't see that coming from Sony. Also, it seems to me as well that with the example of DayZ on PlayStation 5, as I understand it, people are saying still runs at 30 frames a second. I'm like, ooh, that's not cool, because DayZ on Xbox One, Xbox Series S runs at definitely 60 frames a second. It's smooth as silk. And it could well be that the Xbox backwards compatibility mode that allows it to play Xbox One games has, it can give these games the more horsepower, the more frame rate to make these older games look better in a way that the PlayStation can't. Now, that's not confirmed. We'll have to see some more about that and do some direct comparisons. But I think, along with the fact that you can obviously get Game Pass as well for the Xbox games, means that all of a sudden you've got access to many, many games as well for a very cheap monthly price. I think it's about £11 a month, isn't it? And it makes it a very exciting prospect indeed. But anyway, let's take this back to PUBG. I've played more PUBG in the last week and a bit since I've had my Series S than I've probably played in the last year on my PlayStation. Now, that's not a fault of the PlayStation. It's a fault of the fact that, I got tired with PUBG. I got tired with having to play maps that I didn't particularly like and maybe didn't run that well as well. But coming back to the Series S and playing PUBG, I don't really care which map loads now, whether it's Miramar, Erangel, Vikendi. I just want to play the game because it looks so much better. It's so much smoother, and the fact that I can now play Team Deathmatch means that I can practice and get better at my close quarter combat, because I'm absolutely rubbish at it. And make myself more effective in the Battle Royale mode as well. So I would argue quite strongly that if you really enjoy PUBG is your main game, you should seriously consider buying an Xbox One S to play on. There we go. What do you think? Put your questions and comments down below. If you've liked the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. And I will, of course, see you again soon.